We would like to thank our sponsors, Getaway Today. Use Getaway Today for all of your vacation planning needs. You'll get exclusive perks, great discounts, and the best customer service. Most importantly, their services are always free and easy, from experienced and passionate agents who love to make your vacation dreams come true. Head on over to getawaytoday.com from the link in our show notes to see their exclusive deals, and you can call 855-GETAWAY and let them know Walt's Apartment sent you to start planning your next vacation today.
There was an idea. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
This is the Marvel Tribe, brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and the DisInsider.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Marvel Tribe. We're a group of excited and passionate individuals who have come together to share our love of all things Marvel. We're brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and DisInsider.com. I'm so honored to be joined by this amazing group of Marvel nerds. From the big screen to the small print, feel the pulse in your chest so you know you're alive. One team, one love. It's the Marvel Tribe.
It's the Marvel Tribe. Marvel Tribe.
You were my motivation there, David. I didn't even screw it up this time once this week.
No, you knocked it out. I'm going to have to just come with it, jump on you every time before now.
Shawn, you going to hit record?
Oh, did I not? Oh, it
You did. You did.
How are y'all doing tonight? It is actually Wednesday night after the Walt's Apartment live stream on Facebook. We are recording tonight because David will be at Disneyland on the 4th of July. Sam will be in Tennessee on the 4th of July. Breanna is brave enough
We'll be working.
We'll be back to work. And she is actually on vacation in where are you at? Hilton Head, South Carolina? Yeah.
Yes.
And Chris is at home, and it's 11 o'clock for Chris and Breanna. I thank you guys so much for staying up to do this. But
Chris, you're going to be in Disney for the 4th?
Absolutely, it's my
Chris will be in Disney for
birthday.
the whole month of July. It sounds
Yes.
like.
Entire month.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
You guys might not hear from Chris again until August, so we'll try to figure out a way to get him in here.
I'm going to send in a variant.
There
All
we
right,
go.
that'll work.
Perfect.
But we all usually watch this show like 3 or 4 times before we record. I only watched it once. I finished about an hour before we did the live stream. So I have lots of questions. I'm Sam. How many times did you get to watch it this week?
Only once.
Only once.
Yeah.
Breanna, how about you?
I watched it twice.
Twice. Okay. David?
3 times.
3 times. Look at that. And Chris?
Once.
Once.
And very slowly.
But yeah, it was a great episode. Let's start with that. Sam, what did you think of the episode overall?
I thought it was absolutely amazing. I felt like I was watching a full-length film, and there was so many different developments, and the plot for this episode alone, I feel like could have carried the entire season.
Of course, I absolutely agree. Breanna, how about you?
Yeah, this was now again my new favorite episode. It was absolutely amazing. I was talking earlier, I was like, I'm sad that I'll never get to experience this episode for the first time again because it took me through a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah. Chris, how about you, bud?
It was definitely written larger than a TV show.
For
There was
sure.
a first act, a second act, and then the ending.
Yep.
And I got 4 things out of it that really shocked me. And one thing that basically they showed their hand in a way.
Okay. We'll dive into that. David, you made a statement today in our group chat that this was the best thing you've seen on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, no, this is probably one of their best Marvel productions for a show. And that's saying a lot because I love Falcon Winter Soldier. I love the concept for WandaVision. To date, this episode will go toe to toe with all of them. So this is by far was my favorite. Like Chris said, there's a 3-act inside of this short time, and one of the things I found myself doing for watching this for the first time, I kept pausing to see how much time was left.
Yeah.
I just like, wait, how much time do we have left? Oh my God, they're doing this. So how much, pause, like how much time? So I was constantly checking the clock, which I need to not do that, but it was great.
It did not seem like 45 minutes. It seemed way longer. Even when there's like, how do they do this? And just wrap your head around everything that happened in this episode. And it was, I thought it was great. Not understanding this show as much as I've understood the other ones. This one kind of brought me back a little bit to where I kind of got a grasp on a few things that are happening. So I thought it was great. And it kind of brought me back into like, okay, this is a really damn good show. So because after last week, I was confused. And I told you guys that and I wasn't sure what's going on. This kind of answered those questions pretty easily. And it made me like, oh, okay, that's why the C20 was in the beginning of the episode with Sylvie last week. Okay, now it makes sense. So just little things like that totally brought it back for a Marvel novice. Totally brought it back in my head. Really, this is a really, really good show. So let's get into it. Let's start it off. Let's break it down. Let's start. Who wants to start off with what happened in the beginning? Breanna?
Sure. Oh my gosh. We don't start on, oh my gosh, see, I don't know. We didn't start on Elementus. We went to the TVA first, and we got a flashback of child Sylvie, and how she was arrested. Yes, she was in Asgard playing with toys, and the TVA comes in and arrests her. She's sitting down playing toys, and then we see her go through the same process that we saw Loki go through in the first episode. And as she's stepping before the judge, she grabs the TemPad and escapes.
From Ravana, of all people.
Yes, Ravana was exactly the Minuteman.
Which exactly the same. Her age, she hasn't aged at all. And however old Sylvie is, she looks exactly the same. So,
yeah.
But
my one question was, so if Ravana was a Minuteman, did she have a number and then she got a name when she got promoted?
She has a number, yeah. Her number, yeah, you can see her number. She had her helmet sitting on her shelf when she picked up her thing.
Remember that.
So she was C, I think it was a C25 or something.
I messed up her and the other lady that we'll talk about later on. I messed up their
B15. B15.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely had a
show.
That was like
her emotions without words is she's amazing. She's an amazing actress. So
I was so irritated watching that scene though. Like
of her escaping or
of this little girl who's just in Asgard just playing with her little toys. And all of a sudden
girl. Wasn't a little girl.
You're gonna have to explain that to me.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
Well, we're seeing it as Sylvie as young, right? And there's two things. One in one light, you can look at it as Loki's daughter, possibly,
or Loki variant too, right?
Or is it Loki himself that doesn't have a gender? So it's a.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still a child.
Oh, a child being taken back to the TVA?
Yeah.
But this child, see, I love how I'll compare this to Shawn's compassion to Wanda. These are evil people.
But the thing is, like we see later in the episode, like Sylvie even says to her, like, what did I do to the timeline? And she goes, I don't even remember. So obviously it wasn't that important.
So
Ravana
to me,
is just a
what
jerk.
I think is we watched the team up that shouldn't have happened. Okay. But you watched Loki fall in love with himself.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I separate like the female standing there and the male standing there. That's Loki's messed up head loving himself. That's selfishness. And
well, he's a narcissist, but I still want to know what the child Sylvie did to be taken into the TVA.
She had the wolf behind her in the little Viking ship. Did you catch that?
I did see that.
Yeah, that's back to Thor.
Yeah.
She did. I actually watched a breakdown that helped me kind of understand this more, and that was one of the things that they brought up was the wolf from Ragnarok from Thor in there and stuff. So,
but did you see her little face though? How did you not love her little face?
She looked like Haley.
I know.
Right.
Oh, now we're gonna throw personal kids that we know into this. Well, forget it. I can't go into that.
Even as a
I was more impressed.
Adult, going through the TVA is the weirdest and scariest thing ever. Like when I watched that first episode, no one knows that they're breaking the timeline, and then they just get intercepted on Earth and then brought into this place, and they're like, you go before a judge, and they're like,
you have to decide if you're
what do you mean? What am I guilty of?
You have to have an existential crisis about, are you even a robot?
But it's happening multiple times because the gentleman that has the long hair and the mustache, you know who that is, right? If you remember, if you go back 2 episodes, when they go to the desk and there's the guy with a predominant mustache and he's working on it when the timelines broke, that's the same guy. So it shows that anyone that comes into the TVA, Morbius, we'll get there. Sorry. I apologize. It's been on my head, dude.
No worries.
But it seems like everyone that's there, they don't realize they're there, and it's a continuation of what's to happen.
Is that why she hasn't aged?
So the only...
So they say the TVA is outside the timeline, so I mean, I would just not expect them to age.
Correct. Yeah, they're in a place of null, but you see repetitively that one, that they have a history of turning their variants into Minutemen or working for some capacity for the TVA, all except for one group of people that they do not. There is no Lokis. They, again, in this null void of time, there's no powers that could be used against the TVA. There's no nothing. So it's nothing for them to wipe a Loki's mind and to have them be a variant. The question is, the $1 million question is, why haven't they did that? And so that's where a lot of this episode kind of really revealed some things for me and stuff, including, and I'm putting this out there because it's not confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, but I think when Sylvie was asking about what did I do, they're very good about looking at people do certain events and stuff that makes a change and stuff. Children don't typically go to the TVA and stuff, as you can see. They're all adults making decisions. So, on the sacred timeline, it tends to be that children kind of just exist on the sacred timeline doing what they're supposed to be doing, except for Loki, which she was Loki at the time. She was not Sylvie yet. And I think what she did is she is a Nexus being.
She existed as a Nexus being. And that makes complete sense. Her
existence is normal to not disrupt the timeline, but dangerous enough to cause an issue for the existence of the Timekeepers. And the fact that she escaped, and I'm just putting this out there, the fact that Ravonna let her escape sealed the demise of the Timekeepers. So I knew that they were dead, and this is kind of payback, chasing her down to the ends of times and stuff like that. Because they only also explain how a little girl figured out all of this stuff, how to hide from the TVA, how to, hang out in the apocalyptic things. I mean, she, again, like I said, I'm going with that. She's a Nexus being of the Loki's theory, and that's kind of what we'll get more.
Yeah. So that makes sense too, why Ravonna wouldn't tell her what she did, because she's not about to tell her she's a Nexus being.
No.
Got it.
Of course not. I mean, the minute you become through a self-realization that you're just all powerful and whatever.
We should probably explain what a Nexus being is. So there are different tell me if this is wrong, David, but there are different variations of all. So there are different variations of like the Scarlet Witch, and there are different variations of like Loki. Okay, we got that.
Sure.
The Nexus is basically like the anchor for the dimension, right? Like they are
correct. Yeah, like, they can move in and out of the different timelines, the different multiverses and stuff, and still whatever
the dimensions won't collapse on themselves.
No, they can't. They're kind of benchmarks and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever they do is right, because it's like the Affinity Stones. How it doesn't matter how the Affinity Stones are used. Their only reason for existence is the fact that universe exists, and it comes with power with that and stuff. So nothing the Infinity Stones can't. The Infinity Stones can't be good or bad. They just exist, and then they also have a power base. So Nexus Being is similar to. It's weird. It's weird to explain because Marvel Comics have actually retooled and uncanonized some Nexus beings, including Vision himself. He was a Nexus being in a comic run and stuff like that. So they've changed a little bit of the definition, which means the MCU may be doing the same thing, and which means they will explain it. In fact, I think this is going to be a show, if I'm right, that if she is a Nexus being, they will explain why that's incredibly critically important and stuff to the TVA and to all of the Lokis and stuff, which I also think there's a Loki is responsible for all of this. So
do you think Loki's in charge of the TVA?
Oh, so I went with King the Conqueror for a while, but I'm like, dude, that's so on the nose, directing people to it. It's just like they're dropping these clues without dropping. It's like the Mephisto thing all again. And then we get the whole it's Agatha all along and stuff. And we got to realize that these shows are about the people that these shows are about. So it's not about introducing a brand new character as far as, so it's really about the Scarlet Witch. It's really about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and stuff. This is about Loki. And he, out of all of the other shows, he is the villain who got his own show. It makes sense that it would be the villain. So that's where
not according to Sam. She thinks Wanda is a villain too. So
well, okay. So yes, Scarlet Witch is bad. Wanda.
No, she's not a villain. She's an anti-hero.
Correct. She made bad choices for her personal. She's broken. That's what I'll say. She's making poor decisions right now.
That's fair. So,
I'm rooting for Doctor Strange to kind of save her, but she's broken. That's all. As far as I'll go. But
I agree with it not being with King at this point, because King the Conqueror wants to basically mess up the timelines, right? Like he's always messing up the timelines in the comics.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. No. I was also going to say this too. Me reading King the Conqueror and stuff in the comic books, he's never had to operate in secrecy.
Right.
He just doesn't. He changed his identity. He changed his identity and he's became different people. But he did that out in the open. So it's a different person. You don't know that's King the Conqueror. But it's all out in the open because that's how he wields his power and stuff. There's no point in him being the decrepit old man behind the scenes, like we saw in the Wizard of Oz with the little, as the curtains, there's the old guy who's lean and stuff who needs something bigger and badder than himself to rule. King the Conqueror is that guy. Yeah. So that's why
I think it's what you're leading to is what I'm starting to think more, that it's Kang the Conqueror, but it's Immortus.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the Immortus storyline. Who basically a short version is when Immortus, why Kang becomes Immortus is because he's approached by the Timekeepers to have immortality. Yep. So he becomes, this is a key thing, he's the Lord of Limbo. Okay, and there's a comic issue where inside of Limbo are a bunch of Loki variants. And the scene that we will talk about later, I don't spoil anything, is exactly what's frame by frame in the book. Limbo is also a timeless dimension in Chronopolis.
Chronopolis, yes.
Okay, and Chronopolis is outside the timelines because it's located in the quantum realm.
Correct.
Where am I going to find this comic? Is that which edition?
It's actually I will put it out because I was actually just trying to look up because Mighty Thor number 12 is which it came out like 2 years ago, is that scene of all the Lokis looking down, right? And if you notice, that scene was placed exactly as the famous Hawkeye, right? All the Avengers looking down at Loki. They just redid that scene. And did you notice the music at that point? It's the Avengers theme.
It's the Avengers, yeah. It's the Avengers theme.
So my wife, that's when I got yelled at for having the TV too loud.
So we'll find the comic run and we'll put that in the show, not in the show notes, but we'll definitely put that in the chat.
Share it out on social media or something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I'm not ruling out we won't see King the Conqueror again. I don't think it will be an end credit. I said that last time. I'm gonna stick by that. I really do think that this is a Loki party that's going on here and stuff. We actually talked about them being variants and stuff because of the sea. Is it Sea-Doo? Not Sea-Doo. Water jet ski. Thank you. The jet ski and all the 90s. The snacks and sodas and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it would make sense that Mobius would be from there and stuff. And
he tossed a line in this show that rocked me. I'm sure you know it word for word by now, David. But when he brought in the Kree, the Titans,
and vampires, That's the first time in Marvel Cinematic history vampires was ever referenced. So not that, that's significant because we got Blade coming, he's already cast and everything else and stuff. And then the Titans, we know we've been introduced to one Titan, which is Thanos himself, even though he is he's a deviant version of the Titans, but Thanos is a Titan. We may see some more in Eternals and stuff as well. But yeah, it kind of goes towards how long Mobius has been around and stuff. But
will we see his brother Eros?
Oh my God, I hope so. I would like to see him in Eternals, and we can talk a little bit more about that as that approach about his awesome brother. But
so we are 20 minutes into the podcast, and we haven't even gotten to this thing where it says Loki and plays the music yet.
Sorry, we jumped around quite a bit.
Yeah, we did bring in some stuff.
No, it's all good. Do we want to continue, or we can just keep going?
Let's keep the train rolling. So
she faces the judge. The Loki logo comes up. Then, for the life of me, I cannot remember what happens after the logo comes up. Where are we next? Are we back on?
I think it's when she's coming out after speaking to the
all the Timekeepers.
Yeah.
She goes up in the elevator and then comes back down.
Okay. Which I gotta give credit to the writers, because the Timekeepers, it now makes sense why all the way back in Captain America Winter Soldier, androids, aliens, and wizards.
Wizards. Yep.
Those are your three Timekeepers.
Yep.
We're coming out to find out that they definitely are Android versions.
Yeah, Marvel don't do things by mistake, so they do very little.
No, those things were just creepy looking.
They were.
I love them.
Yeah, I cannot.
Would you want one in your bedroom staring at you when you're sleeping?
Please no.
They were creepy.
It depends. I don't know. They read me bedtime stories. Make the one white noise sounds, and maybe.
Okay.
So we're in the interrogation room, right? Is this where they?
Now we go back to Lamentus, right?
Lamentus.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We skipped that part.
Where we see the Nexus event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're just sitting there.
So this is the part where I think she's the Nexus being, because the apocalyptic event, it was already proven through that little experiment that Loki and Mobius did, that these apocalyptic events that occurs, there is nothing anyone can do to stop it, right? So the timeline is safe. They are watching it and nothing changes. Be free, my horn friends, and all that stuff, no matter what they're doing, telling people the end of the world is here, and nothing changed. Nothing. When they're sitting down, and this is where Loki started the whole I'm falling in love with my self. And as this cataclysmic event is occurring, they showed that specifically on purpose, because they want you to know that there's no saving this. This event is not changeable. It's going to happen. But yet something happened. And a Nexus event that they have never seen before in their life started to happen. That curve, if you guys looked at how those curves normally go, they do kind of go at an angle. This one was going almost at a 90-degree straight up angle and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's how powerful this footprint was being left, this new branch that was being created and stuff, showing that whatever a Nexus being does in the timeline is meant to happen. It's a benchmark that is set. So that's why I'm saying she is a Nexus being. He also says, we don't, she made that comment about, is it our destiny to just lose our I can't remember, I'm butchering her words, but he hit her back with, we don't die.
We survive.
We survive. We may take a loss and stuff, but we survive and stuff. And the belief in that, you see her look at him, and then this is where they got exposed. Like, wait, hold up. This event's supposed to be a cataclysmic, apocalyptic event, and then boom, here comes a new branch that's shooting straight up into the critical zone and stuff. So that's the part where I started thinking, like, oh my God, I think she is a Nexus being. So the details behind that is still remain to be seen, but that's what I'm predicating my evidence off of, that and a few other little things. So
you think that it's Sylvie, or is Loki a Nexus being?
So I think it's Sylvie, only because of the when she got caught, when she got taken by the TV as a child.
So you look at them as separate
is a threat.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. So you think they're separate?
I do.
Okay.
I think I'm still looking at her as a projection of himself. Not of, it's him reflecting on himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not just like a separate being, but it's a way of him to act with himself.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Okay. That's why he loves himself.
I'm starting to believe that there is no sacred timeline. I really am. And I think, and if that's what they're trying to do with this show, then they did it with me, because it's showing that the only thing that matters is who has the power.
Correct. And
the timeline can be changed at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that was for a one-time episode thing that affected me.
I agree with you, Chris. I think the sacred timeline is a bunch of baloney. It is. It's a specific trajectory of a timeline that certain people want certain outcomes from. So they're messing with the timeline using the TVA. They're feeding the TVA variants a bunch of BS to help them do their will, do their bidding and stuff. And so they're trying to control this the best way possible. This is why when we find out the Timekeepers are dead, or they're
androids
or whatnot and stuff. Yeah, that's where I was like, okay, this is absolutely.
I have a question. Did anybody ask the Timekeepers if they were robots?
Who knows?
That's also why I think it's we all know that there's someone behind that. I just don't know is it going to be a blend of we know there's a Kang character, right?
Correct.
But is it going to be a blend of Immortus and Ravonna? Does Ravonna become the storyline of Immortus? It's hard to follow. It was hard enough to follow in the comic books. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you try to understand that this person is someone else.
Yeah.
From the future in the past.
I keep going back to what Chris said about Loki, about him being both people. That's stuck. That's sticking in my head now about him saying that. So I just had to throw that in there right there. Sorry.
I still view them as different.
I do too. Yeah. But I hear what Chris is saying.
I do too. Yeah.
And Marvel got me because when we saw the Loki trailer, if you remember way back, David, remember I actually shot a message to you because at first I thought it was Black Widow.
Yep, I did.
Loki
I was
sitting at
today.
The water, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That scene we saw today,
different
from that trailer, completely different.
Yeah. So this is part of the Marvel rope-a-dope. They're known for doing this. The most famous rope-a-dope that they have done was the Incredible Hulk in the Hulkbuster suit.
Yep.
We never happened, but it was in the trailer, and so we were like, "Oh man, we're about to get some, payback for Thanos." But no, so Marvel is, like I said, they don't do things by mistake. This is done purposefully. So. Which is really kind of freaking me out about the whole WandaVision scene stuff. So, but I know you guys probably talked about that earlier on the podcast on the other one, but yeah. So anyway, back to this one. So they get picked up. So they're causing a Nexus Event. They're getting the two time portals open up, and next thing we know, we see Loki and Sylvie with the little the time loop straps around their necks being hauled off by collars. The TVA. The collars, yes, the shock collars. So, and Sylvie is being also treated like she's way more deadlier of a threat than Loki. She's full security guards and stuff on her.
She's escaped before.
Yeah, she has escaped.
Well, he has too, but not really. Yeah. Not to the extent that she has.
But and I agree with Loki. It was the kind of respect factor. He knows this is that. It's like, really? You're gonna put more guards on her than me? And it was such a narcissistic comment. Like, I want less guards. I mean, in fact, hell, trust me to not even have a collar. But he's like, why aren't you treating me as like I'm like a high level threat too? I want
But see,
that's
I
a
thought
narcissistic thought process.
Okay, here, let me play the hopeless romantic card for a second. Because part of me was like, maybe he's trying to detract attention from her. Maybe he does love her, so he was trying to detract attention from her.
Right, I can see that for sure.
Oh, he loves her.
He definitely cares for her a lot. You can see that. He was freaking out
Chris said,
he thought that she might be. That's true. Because he loves himself. So I mean, and he knows that. So
same, Loki. Same. I love you too, Loki.
As the high level viewing of the show, do you see this as a romantic type of interaction of Loki and Sylvie?
I don't know,
David.
No.
Shawn?
I mean,
it looks like it. I mean, if we're skipping, if we skip ahead to the end, I mean, they were like writing.
Okay, but I want it because
yes or no, Sam?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes because Loki doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't want to be alone.
So Sam, Shawn, and Breanna think it's a love interest.
David
for sure. And I don't. Okay. I think Loki would shank her as fast as he could.
Yep.
No, I mean that's probably true, but I don't want it.
She is a means to his end, and I say this in this sense. So when he had the access to the affinity stones, the tesseract or what have you. He would protect. He had the same kind of love affinity for that power as he has for Sylvie. And if you go back and watch, some of the previous movies that he was a part of and stuff, and when he gets access to powerful things, he tends to kind of fall in love. He gets enamored with it. You see, now you can miss it because it's inanimate objects and stuff. But she is also a power source who just happens to be, like we want. We're the ones who building this romantic thing in our head. That's all I'm saying.
I do think she would shank him though.
I think it's more likely that she would shank him before he would.
I think that he's more of a means to her end than she is to his.
Well, she's a Loki, so they're both playing the game.
But that's not who she is anymore.
So
neither is his mother. I don't know, but he didn't kind of help his mom too much.
Nope.
He helped his brother after he was getting his head crushed. But
can I ask a question I think's been asked before, and I'm still confused about it?
Okay.
What is a Loki? You're saying this is a Loki. This is a Loki. Isn't his name is Loki? So
correct.
So are they all the same damn thing, or are they all the same version of him? Is that what I'm trying to understand? And that's what Chris is saying, that she's a version of him. So are they? That's what confused me about this show, because they just keep saying Lokis, and it completely confuses me. I'm like, what the hell is a Loki?
So are you asking if they all have their own individual like personas, like if they're all different people, or
are they all versions of him?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, they are all versions of
yeah. They all have their own physical representations in different timelines
of him. Of Loki, that guy right there. There. Okay.
Yes.
So the binding factor for all the Lokis is their origin, but beyond that, their individual timeline branches all differ. And because Loki is very much gender fluid, and he's a lot of fluid, he manifests himself in very different ways across the different timelines. But it's kind of the same with anyone really. There's a bunch of different Shawns and stuff out there that would be, there could be a very, super successful, Walt Disney was my best friend Shawn in another timeline.
Right.
Or, so yeah, there
could be a girl Shawn.
There could be.
Oh, wow.
There could be a dinosaur Shawn.
My name is spelled like a girl would spell it. So, I mean,
but
that's
all in all, like Loki, Thor, Odin is all based off of the Norse. Am I pronouncing it right? Norse mythology.
Yes.
Okay, so Norse mythology of that, and the Loki was like the troublesome spawn.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. I feel like you guys explained that way just helped me out so much. So carry on. I've been confused. I didn't want to say anything, but now that helped. So
always
this is the perfect place to say, because you're confused. There's probably people out there who's listening who is confused and have questions and stuff that don't get the opportunity to ask. So
right. So where are we in the show?
So
we're 4 minutes in.
Interrogation rooms.
Yes. So, this is where, Loki's kind of, and Mobius is being butthurt about the betrayal that he assumes Loki committed and stuff. And Loki's being the same Loki he's being until that door opens and Loki's trying to talk his way back out of it, where it's, it's kind of too late, but he does drop a clue bomb to Mobius and tell him that what did he say exactly? You can't trust the TVA, or
the TVA is lying to you.
The TVA is lying to you and so Mobius is thinking, he's an analyst, and we talked about this last time too. He is a top-notch analyst. In fact, I think he might have some latent powers as to why he's an analyst in the first place and stuff. But with that said, his cogs are spinning and stuff, but he still has a hard time trusting Loki, throws him into I call it the time loop pit, where, oh my God, I about exploded when we got to see, which we haven't seen in forever, Lady Sif.
Yep.
Who is part of the Gang of Three. It's Thor's, his immortal sidekicks who, he goes on and he helps protect Asgard with. And we've seen the others get killed by Hela on Ragnarok, but she was nowhere to be found. And now we do know, so I have a little background on this. One of the main reasons, which is a lucky reason for her, she wasn't in Thor Ragnarok, was because of a scheduling issue. When she finally got the call from Marvel to come and shoot Thor Ragnarok, she was already committed to a TV show. I can't remember the name of it. Blind Spot, I believe, that she was doing and stuff. So she could not. The scheduling could not it was very conflicting. So they just dropped her story arc, which is a good thing because I believe if she was in Ragnarok, she would got slayed by Hela like the rest of his his posse. So this allows her in a way to kind of come back and torture Loki, for however long he's gonna be in a time loop and stuff. So that was just some background. It has not a lot of relevance because maybe we get the opportunity to see her in Love and Love and Thunder, but we'll see.
I mean, she kept saying, like, you will be alone forever. Like, that's why I'm like, maybe he won't be alone forever. Yeah.
Well, in the significance of the hair,
yeah,
is mythology.
Exactly. So I thought that was, I believe the story is that Loki then feels bad, right, and makes the gods then repair her hair. Mm-hmm. After Sif need him in the groin, I don't know if I'd be worrying about her hair at that point.
Yeah.
Just kept going over and over too. I'm like, damn, dude, it's all right, bro.
So they ripped this time loop from a Norse mythology where Loki, the angst trickster, teenager, chops off a huge chunk of Lady Sif's hair, which she's also a character in Norse mythology and stuff, which was kind of cool because it also predicates that's just how these gods lived through the storytelling of the same stories over and over and over again. And so we got an example of that, which was hell for Loki and stuff.
Right.
So
while that's happening, Mobius is in with Ravonna, correct? And they're talking about how he wants to interrogate Sylvie, correct? Am I right? That's what's happening at that time? Yeah. She's telling him no, and then during all that, why he keeps getting kneed in the groin, he is able to switch his temp pad with Ravonna's.
Oh, that's
pad.
Right.
Yeah.
So we missed a small conversation between Ravonna and Mobius where he asked to talk to the Minuteman agent. I can't remember her
C20.
C20. C20, and that's when she revealed that she died. She fell. Her Ravonna's excuse was she fell more into madness and stuff because of the variant, and he couldn't square that because she seemed fine to him, just scared. Right. And so that small lie got brought back up in what you were saying when they were in the judge's chambers and they're having the conversation again.
Yeah.
So he switched the temp pad and. Because he had his suspicions, and she kept asking him that question, anytime, any place, where would you go? Now, I personally think that was a loaded question. I think she's at this place of paranoia. And so if he would have responded in the way I think she was looking for, which was like, if you can go any place, anytime, where would you go?
A jet ski in the 90s. Yeah,
a jet ski in the 90s. Meaning he may be starting to get his memory back, which is...
who wouldn't though, right?
Yeah. So the fact that he responded, I'd be no other place but right here with you and stuff, doing this and stuff. That's where it kind of put her at ease. But that was a total setup. That wasn't a caring friend question or anything. That was, I need to see if you're on my side, or not. What's going on? Like, do I need to mind wipe you too? So
I hate her. Okay. I just her.
She's cunning. She's very calculating about what she says and stuff.
I think she has a big role in all this. She'll have a huge role by the end of this, I think. That's just my opinion. So we move on from that spot. Go ahead. Where are we at next?
He goes in up a little bit.
What's that?
Mobius interrogates Loki first, then puts him back in the time cell again, and then he's with Breanna in the office.
Oh, my bad. You're right. I screwed that up because at this point they're celebrating. That's what they're celebrating. Over, and
like
he's signing off. The case is closed. My bad on that. I took us the wrong way there. I apologize for that. But she puts up
kind of back and forth.
Puts up her trophy of is it Loki's knife on her wall there, and he says, "Where are you going to put it with everything
the dagger,
else?" The dagger there, and So then we move on to the next spot to where.
Yeah, so he was he did interrogate him and basically wrote off everything. Well, he tells Loki he's writing off everything that Loki's saying. Mm-hmm. And we did get to see, him kind of tell him like, oh, well, we pruned her already. She's already gone. And
right.
That's where you get to see the what you guys imagine to be love in his eyes and sadness and caring that she's actually gone and stuff. But
you guys imagine that was true passion right there. He even shed a tear. He was upset because he thought she was
also
gone.
The god of mischief. So,
well, I mean, you'd be passionate too. Like if like for example, someone told you guys you lost your finger, wouldn't that make you sad and concerned and stuff?
Yeah, I teared up, but I don't care. No, I'm joking.
We're horrible.
Wow. All right. This is what you get when it's midnight where Chris and Breanna are, and we're recording. We don't care.
But there's some genuine care there. But I think it's not direct. It's directed inwardly because he cares about himself.
Because he's a narcissist.
Yeah, he goes back to when he was being shown his life right on that reel, and you saw the compassion with his mother dying, right? His neck being snapped, though. We don't know which one he was really referring to in sadness. Now I'm saying it was his own neck being snapped.
Like, oh, how tragic that I died.
When I first saw it, I thought it was when Thor throws the rock and he realizes his brother was there for him. But now, I don't know. Loki is a lone wolf.
He's the king of the mind F, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'll say this. I think I'm going to say there's another Loki that we're going to see who is really truly vile that we're gonna get the opportunity to see, who may be really the one who's kind of pulling the strings and challenges the current Loki for there's going to be a power struggle here and stuff. Okay. Now, with that said, the other Lokis are just pawns. They're just, we which we'll get to at the end credit and stuff, but this is Loki. I'm telling you, Loki. People want to say King the Conqueror. I feel the Mephisto kind of rope-a-dope coming. We may get a reference to him. Don't get me wrong, because they don't put Judge Ravonna into this without. It just doesn't make any sense. You can get a bigger clue.
If this episode didn't have so much that it's making they're telling you to look over here, and whenever Marvel does that. Mm-hmm. If you stop and you focus on what it is, like the title of the show is not Kang, it's Loki. Right? So, and the other thing is...
So it was Loki after all.
Loki all along. Is going to happen in the quantum realm. I'm sorry, in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Quantumania.
So this could be touches and, thoughts about it, but they don't have to ever show him and then let the fan base just run wild with it again, and they can provide you the whole Loki storyline with Kang just sitting in the shadows.
I did get a little excited earlier, and David kind of knocked me off my horse a little bit. I was kind of going like, I'm thinking about the Russo brothers, and I'm thinking about like Secret Wars, and I was going with like, what if that final scene and they're in the battleground and what's his name? Can't even think of his name right now.
Kid Loki?
No, hang on. I know I sent it to us earlier. No, the
Croc Gator Loki.
The alligator.
The Beyonder. No, I'm talking about the Beyonder.
The Beyonder.
So like I was like, what if he's like using the TVA and he's like using like the lesser variants of the TVA to attract and like hunt down these like bigger warriors that he can put to have them all fight for good and bad in the battleground. And now I realize I was overcomplicating things and making it a very Mephisto-like situation, but it was still a fun storyline to think about.
Oh, absolutely. I love going down rabbit holes.
Listen, I'm going more towards the Immortus, but you got to remember that Kang is also a descendant of Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm. And
Reed Richards.
Yep.
So there's a whole nother story. You want to talk about branches of a storyline, of a timeline? It's been written already. It's just a matter of us seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the pen just took me down that route because they focused on that pen again. Mm-hmm. And do you know who went to Franklin D. Roosevelt High School?
Captain America.
Molecule Man.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, but that was in California.
What the hell is Molecule Man?
Molecule Man was in anyway, yeah, that's going to be a whole nother episode.
Ask Shuri. She'll tell you who Molecule Man is. Kind of help her become Black Panther, but
so that's kind of why I went that like Secret Wars, the Beyonder route rabbit hole.
That's a big rabbit hole, especially for the episodes that they're doing and stuff.
And to be based off of a pen.
Well, yeah, and they, I mean, there's so many explainers they have to bake into it going forward and stuff because the new audience who is like being introduced to this, I think they would have to change a little bit of the trajectory that they're going on to introduce that kind of storyline. Which I mean, it's not undoable. It's just I don't think that's the route.
I know. I just got excited.
Episode 2 showed Nightmare's helmet in between the floors of WandaVision.
Yeah.
We never saw Nightmare.
Never. No.
Okay.
WandaVision was such easier times. I'm so damn confused.
Well, so all right. So yeah. So I mean, let me just unconfuse a little bit of the situation here. So
I don't know if you can, bro.
There's right now we're thinking there it's between two of a version of King the Conqueror, and Loki are a version of Loki. Those are the two big baddies that could possibly happen, and everything else is just fuel for the fodder, appeasement, Easter eggs and stuff. But
one other thing is just, David, where are they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we're going to wait until we get to the in. Are you talking about where Loki or where are they?
Where it like the whole?
Where's the TVA?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I dismissed the quantum realm, but I now want to retract that a little bit because they absolutely can be. If it is the version of King the Conqueror, it makes complete sense that they live in the null and the void of the quantum realm, and the city that we saw is the actual city that Mr. King is the lord of and stuff, which makes sense why he would create the TVA and his minions and the variants and all the other stuff. I can't rule that out. They haven't really actually showed, because it has to, even though it's not part of the timeline, neither is a quantum realm, and we've been introduced to the quantum realm. In fact, they showed specific parts of the quantum realm for us as saying, time moves differently here. And so, yeah, I can't dismiss it out of hand. I don't want that to be the case. I really want this to be a lot bigger universe then just the quantum realm, and then we have the multiverse and stuff. So that's me hoping that's not going to be the case. We're doing this, and because there's other places and stuff that are just on the outside bounds of time, like Sakaar. Sakaar is a prime example. That planet, you can only access it through portals, and it also have its own time space. Like the Grand Master is like over he's one of the he's when Celestials were around and stuff. He's one of the oldest beings that was around and stuff. And he even says to Thor, times kind of move differently here. I might be 1,000,000 years old or something. Who knows? And kind of was dismissive about that. So I hope it's bigger than what it is, but it could be the quantum realm. Not knocking that theory. It's an interesting theory.
Okay.
I don't know where we are now.
Where are we?
B15 remembers that she saw something when Sylvie touched her before at the Rockscar or whatever it was, and says let her in. So she goes in there. They go back to the Rockscar, and they talk about how she's basically like, Sylvie tells her, I can't create memories. I can just rearrange what you already have. And then she shows her something else and she goes, wow, I was happy. And then B15 says, what do we do now?
Right.
Like it didn't even question it. It was like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
So we know a plan was hatched.
Yeah. So then we come back in, and at this point, I want to say that
Mobius believed. Yeah.
He was in library. So he was in library. Yeah. He opened the Ravona's TemPad and saw and searched out the interrogation scene. Yeah.
And C20 was confirmed dead. So
yeah, she was talking about being
her
the
life
variant. Life before. It was a real place. It was not and then we see Ravonna kind of jump in and turn back, and then the clip is over. End of life. So end of her life, basically. And so then Mobius runs or goes to where Loki's in this time loop with Sif, and
brings him out.
Yeah, he brought him out
and jumps right in there and says, yep. Yeah, I forgot the words he said, but there's a significance and stuff.
He called him a friend.
I got
call
write
him
down
a friend.
Quotable things.
Yeah, I think he did call him a friend.
Yeah.
So then
he was like, "How can I trust?" He was trying as quickly as possible to he wanted to trust Loki, and it wasn't until Loki says, "Well, trust a friend."
Right.
We're a friend. And so that was enough for them. And then we don't really see immediately. Again, this is where I think trickery can be played and stuff, because Loki can. Anyway, they both come out, together, and then boom, they run into the judge and her own personal army.
Her henchmen.
Her henchmen, who are eager to please her. I mean, anyway, that's another story.
Right.
But Mobius tries to kind of spin another lie, and he's like answers the questions like where I would like to go back to. It's like maybe ride a jet ski and blah blah blah, and then that's where she gives the order to prune him.
Yeah,
I hate. I really hate that word. I'm sorry. It's such a horrible word.
Yeah,
But they did. They pruned them, and my heart dropped because
mine too.
We don't know at this point what the hell is going on and stuff. Like
we don't know what happens when you are pruned.
Get pruned, yeah. We assume it's death. So we assume it's a death sentence. So we're like, oh wow, they just killed dudes in front of them.
I think he just got out of a jet ski accident. He's back.
So I think so. Yeah. So that happens, and then they grab Loki, and then they're like, okay, let's go grab the other variant.
Right.
And Ravonna walks in and sees Sylvie kind of sitting there all drenched and wet, and she's like, goes to the guard, who the hell was in here? And it's like, it was B15. Sorry, ma'am. B15, and so they grab her, and then she's marching them to go meet the Wizard of Oz. I mean, the Timekeepers. So,
they grabbed Sylvie, not B-15.
They grab. I'm sorry, they grab. Yeah, they grab
Sylvie and Loki. They're walking. Yeah. Sylvie and Loki are standing there. Their judgment.
And at this point, Loki realizes that she's still alive because he still had in his head that she was maybe gone. So
Well, no, I mean he told her she wasn't dead yet.
Yeah, Mobius admitted that was a trick. No, that's why he's like, "Oh, you really like her, you narcissist."
Yep. You narcissist. So they take the golden elevator to see the Wizard of Oz. Yes, all three of them, and
when they go into the scene, this definitely had the Bill and Ted vibes for me.
For sure, it totally
with the
did.
Three future guys. You just can't help it if you grew up.
That's what I've been thinking. That's what I've been thinking. Where is that from? And now that you said that, there it is. Bill and Ted.
You 100% saw that when they come off of out of the telephone booth and they have the future wise people.
Yep.
It's like, oh wow, there's that reference.
That's exactly what it is. Now I've been trying to place this the whole time and say that, but thank you.
So they get brought forth to the Timekeepers, and and I'm not even going to attempt to remember their names. So the center one speaks first and stuff. What I'm trying to remember. What was
you couldn't understand really what they were saying. There's what the hell are you talking about?
Thank God for captions.
I've only watched it once, so I don't remember what they actually said, but they just basically
Breanna, you mentioned that. Do you watch it with closed caption on?
Always, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So you have to.
I don't do that until like the second or third time watch through.
Oh,
so I'm wondering if I miss anything. And I've only watched this one once, so I don't know if I missed anything in that.
Yeah, everything they said, you could not understand what they were saying. You had to really stare at what they were saying, and I still didn't understand what they were saying.
The captions.
Yeah.
Was there anything during that was
telling
Easter egg or any of that fun stuff?
It was just weird.
Okay. Yeah, it was just that whole scene was weird till she shows up and takes off their necklaces. But it was just odd to me. The whole, yeah.
The only thing I noticed in the caption was at the end. Hell was spelled with one L.
Yeah, that's the Norse.
Yeah,
Norse.
Yeah.
So the Sylvie and the Timekeepers have kind of back and forth, and she kind of jerks forward at them, and then Ravonna resets her. Time
keeps resetting her. Yeah.
Yeah. So and
B-15 breaks in.
Yep.
Yep. Comes in, and I forgot what she says. She says something important.
She says for all time, always.
Yeah, all times, always. She turned off the chokers, the collars, and they fall to the floor, and it is
she tossed weapons.
Yep.
Oh yeah, she threw the sword, the long dagger and stuff, to Sylvie. Yep, to Sylvie. Sylvie caught it, and the fight was on. They were fighting TVA agents left and right with the melt sticks, with the prune sticks.
Why were they using the other side of those? Why weren't they just using the melty side? Why were they using the pointy side? Why did they just melt?
They're trying. They're trying. I mean, there's the pointy side, and then I mean, you got melt or getting shanked. It's a no-win situation.
Not at all. Not at all. It was a bad deal either way. For
whoever the stunts coordinator is from Marvel. They need to do something a little different because it's the same fight over and over, and it's even Ray and what's your guy over there? What's his name? Kylo. Now
they perk up there on the top. Looking okay.
I'm saying like those moves back to back, a male and female hero. In a fight, it's like the same moves over and over again.
Right.
But that might just be my head. I'm sorry. Not that it changes the show at all.
And they're battling back and forth, and then Sylvie throws something up and chops off the head of one of the main timekeeper. And then everyone's like, what the hell? They're just robots basically. And it was,
So we also never see it. So B-15 immediately after she got knocked to the ground, we never saw what happened to her. She didn't get pruned. We didn't see that happen or anything. So she just was kind of out of the scene and stuff. And then Ravonna jumped into the scene to go battle with which she is. At first I thought she was going to kind of hang with Sylvie, but Sylvie is such badass fighter. It just wasn't that was not a good matchup and stuff.
Right.
And she spared her, I mean, she kind of,
Well, because she spared her for a reason.
Yeah, she wants to know what the hell's going on too.
Because we saw Loki. Wow, I'm thinking Luca and Loki. Okay, no. I was just watching Luca earlier today. Great too. So she saw Loki get pruned, and that upset Sylvie. Because maybe he's the means to her end.
Yeah.
Maybe she loves him. We don't know yet. I mean, I'm going to hold out hope that there's a love story. You guys are going to tell me no, but my heart wants it to be a love story.
So when you guys saw Loki get pruned, did you have the WandaVision vibes of Vision going away? That's the first thing my head went to. It was like, how when Vision just disappeared, it was the same kind of thing. But that's where my head goes.
I did not get that.
Come on, man. That's what
I did not get that.
Exactly what I saw. I saw
someone posted that on Twitter.
Oh, no. Yeah, exactly. The same thing.
Agent
Thank
Coulson.
you, whoever that is at Twitter.
A fake death. That's what That's exactly what I saw.
100%. When Loki stabbed Agent Coulson through the back is exactly what I saw when Ravonna did that to Loki and stuff. It was sweet, poetic. That's what I'm sorry, I didn't see the endearing. I mean, I get it now. I see it. As you mentioned it and stuff. Yes. Vision, Shawn and, yes, I do see that now, but I was immediately drawn to the Agent Coulson Loki scene when he shanked them through the back and stuff. So
maybe this is all part of the plan. Maybe Loki allowed himself to be pruned so that she could figure out what the heck is going on from Ravonna.
Could be. He's not dumb. And I think people sleep on that fact a lot when it comes to Loki. He's not a clown, and there's so many people who kind of.
I mean, he is kind of a clown, but he's a smart clown.
He's a very intelligent. He plays chess, like Mobius says. He's a chess player for sure. But yeah, when I thought when he got pruned, I didn't think he was dead. Part of me was like one of the shows called Loki. There's 2 more episodes, and plus I've seen the previews and stuff. So it wasn't like how some people like when you saw Infinity War, and if you saw it in the theater and you saw kids who've never read comic books or anything, and they started sobbing, saying, "Oh my!" I mean, including mine, saying, "Did Black Panther really just die?" The Spider-Man was a big one. I heard a bunch of tears in the audience and stuff. It was like, and I wanted to be like, no, but I couldn't. I let people. I respect people's movie going experience. So, but we all seen the trailer, so I instantly knew like pruning after seeing Loki. That doesn't mean death. So we're gonna see something. And
I will admit, I did not know there was an extra credit scene.
I didn't either. I thought I was going to end on her towering over Ravonna, trying to get questions and stuff, and that's how. And I would have been satisfied with that and stuff. I was super happy that there was extra credit scene.
That post-credit scene, like that mid-roll credit scene, though, I am not joking. I was hyperventilating. I put that in the group chat, and David's like, "Just breathe." And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Were you hyperventilating because you thought he was dead until you saw the scene, or
yes,
or because of the scene that you saw?
No, because I thought both. I thought he was dead, and then I saw the scene, and I said, "Oh my God, what's happening here?"
Right.
So when that scene popped on, my eyes saw one thing. I wish I could split my eyes to see 2 separate things. But I saw the Avengers Tower.
Stark Tower, yep.
Right, the Stark Tower. Yep. So that means that's the timeline of
2012?
Well, no, that what's his name blew up Manhattan.
Yeah, and one of the timelines, they lose the Battle of New York and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right. But I pulled this up, and I know this isn't good for an audio podcast, but Loki is looking at the 3 Lokis. 4, right? 4 Lokis. Forgot about the crocodile.
The lizard Loki.
I don't know if you can see this, but that's Avengers 1. Okay? This is Loki.
Yep. Classic Loki.
So just replace those 3 guys, and that's the scene that we actually got in that end credit. Because I saw that and I was like, he's looking at that's the first issue of Avengers.
Wow. Because he's holding the hammer, right?
Thor's holding the hammer. Yeah. So
I was going to ask this because this is the part where I was stumped. So that is called Boastful Loki. I have never heard of him or seen any variations of him in any comic book I've read. Now, Chris, because that's a new one for me and stuff.
No, so Kid Loki makes tons of sense.
Correct. And right? I've seen Kid Loki and the reincarnation.
The older Loki.
Yep.
Tons of sense. There is a there is a crocodile. It's called a croc gator Loki. Okay. And what it is, if you think about it, it's not a love story, but it's an asexual animal that blended 2 different species together. So I don't know if that's just the tie-in. I don't. Somebody posted, sent me a note this afternoon. I didn't even watch the show, and they're like, "Kill a croc, bro." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What the hell is that about?" But I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I really hope we don't get the Tiger King version of the Avengers or something.
Well, we're about to get President Loki. We're gonna, there's other Lokis that didn't greet him that we're gonna see in this wherever they are. So
I think that spoiler alert. When there is a Marvel Wiki page for Boastful Loki now, and I did look at it, and I mean the character had a stunt double, so we're gonna see some action from our Lokis.
All right.
We are, yes. So and here's the thing: these series has been doing a very good job introducing children with powers, and they keep talking. I mean, we know we're going to get young Avengers and stuff, and that can comprise. It doesn't have to meet the lineup like in the comic books and stuff. So we could have a young Loki and a young Sylvie. Being a part of the Young Avengers and stuff. I'm just saying they're doing a pretty good job introducing children.
Can they fall in love?
Oh God, no. That's all
16,
kinds of
16.
Why can't there ever be a love story? Why can't we just ever? I mean,
because 16 will get you 20.
I mean, we could have. I don't know. We haven't seen Alabama Loki yet, so. But anyway.
You know what? I really do.
11:33. Yeah.
with seeing all the Wiccan and Tommy and Billy and all of that, and building up that team. I wish I was younger and naive to the storyline to get the surprise, because when that comes out and you realize you've seen them all. And now they're in front of you is going to be a huge arc. And as much as I'm going to enjoy it, there's someone out there that's not knowing that this is going to build.
I have a little lady who's that's what I'm hoping for her. She loves watching this stuff with me. She loves all things superheroes. And I'm like, I can't wait.
Keep her pure, because after WandaVision, I gave my daughter all my New Avengers, Teen Avengers, the whole thing.
Yeah, no, Haley doesn't listen to my explanations, but she still gives me hers.
Is she watching this?
She's watched some. She's not. She doesn't like it as much as she did WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I came home and my daughter greeted me at the door, going, "You need to watch this." Okay.
Well, I thought it was fantastic, and I really, they could have. I think the reason why they put that mid credit scene there was because they knew. I know for a fact if they did not do that, the fact that the conspiracy theories and the rabbit holes will blow up to take the entire show off the rails, because then they would be saying, well, it wasn't really Loki. It's another Loki. It's, Marvel never promised us it was our Loki from, they're going to go, it's going to go into this. So this was a way for them to kind of like, let me bring you back a little bit. Your favorite, trickster isn't gone. He's here at this section and stuff. So, but I loved it. I mean, God, like Chris said, the 3-act story arc and stuff. This was an incredible episode that they built. I went along for the roller coaster. Like I said, I paused throughout the entire thing to see how much more time was left, because I'm like, really? I mean, I was super excited when there was like 18 minutes left. I'm like, we still got more. Are you? Oh man, this is awesome.
Absolutely. I can't explain it, but I don't know why. But Loki is giving me so much more information, storyline, that in 4 episodes, that I feel like, oh, we do have 2 more episodes coming, and that's a lot. Yes. Where when you first heard about, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm sorry, Captain America and all of that, it was almost like they didn't have enough time. And I think I said that a couple of weeks ago on the show. These episodes feel longer.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah. And in a good way.
Yes, but in a physical time, they're actually just as much or shorter, right?
Yeah.
I think the end of this one tonight was like the ending of like a regular movie. This could have been like a movie ending, and you're going to find out in 2 years what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because that's how the movies are. But it's like,
I'm just imagining
I would have been
to find out.
We're going to find out in a week. And David will be at Disneyland. And how are you going to be able to do both?
What's that?
How are you going to be able to watch this at Disneyland?
I got internet access. There's,
it's California. It's not
the TVA.
I guess we take that differently. If I was at Disneyland and this was on a Wednesday night, I would not be watching it, buddy. You'd have to fill me in later, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm going to be watching.
I'm going to have time to kill. I mean, they won't let me. I don't know. Will they let me stay in the park 24 hours?
You can try, dude.
I mean, I mean, I have off hours and stuff that I can actually catch up on stuff. So I will absolutely do that, and I'll try I'm lying. I said I'll try to join you guys next week for the Walt's apartment, but that's my part time. So.
Yeah, I'm not joining either. Don't feel bad.
So, with that said, great episode. It's 12:30 for Chris and Breanna right now on the East Coast. So, thank you guys for staying up late to do this.
Absolutely.
So we can get this.
Thank you.
So we can get this out. Happy 4th of July to everyone. Be safe. Sam, have a great vacation.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a week, David. Have a great vacation.
Haunted
Mansion. Here you come.
Yes.
Make sure you hide something there for me somewhere so I can find it.
I got you.
All right, man. Are you there on the 9th still? Or are you gone?
I'm gone. We leave like early that morning. I'll be at the airport around like 10 a.m. or so.
Okay. All right.
And Chris, we'll see you next month.
Yeah, Chris, we'll see. We'll catch up with you.
I'll see what I can do, but if not, I will definitely be. I'll be around. Yeah. The newest thing will be, I can't wait to see fireworks in the park.
Yeah.
So 4th of July, I'm shooting for that. Lots of fun.
Exciting. Yeah. So, Breanna, thank you so much for staying up late. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Join us next week for everything. And from all of us here at the Marvel Tribe, we hope you have a great 4th of July, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.